good. Yeah, you know it's good. I can't. If Paramount has any sense, they'll put him on that steelbook somewhere. They'll put him.
Oh, he'll
on
be
that.
on it.
Halloween Resurrection.
Dude, look at that font right there for the title credits. That is literally back in that time, I saw that font everywhere. Every wrestling video game had that font. Everything. Like that font is synonymous with that time frame. People be like, "What the fuck does it mean?" I'm like, he defines it in the beginning of the goddamn movie. The definition is on the fucking screen.
Yeah,
it's on the fucking screen.
It doesn't make sense.
What does it mean?
Can you fucking read?
He defines it. He fucking defines it.
If you don't like Halloween 5, you're fucking wrong, basically. So
hell yes for the absolutely generic font for the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that's the same font they use for the Friday.
Dude, it is. And the Blu-ray fonts from the original and this one are like almost identical.
To get genuinely aggravated by a film, I feel alive. I felt alive after seeing this thing because I was so fucking mad and so aggravated. Thank God the dislike button doesn't exist.
I know.
When I watch men.
Yo. What's up, everybody? This is our first episode since Christian's birthday. Yeah, I'm calling it out right at the top. Christian, you're 42. No, 32. Yeah, does it feel any different?
Well, I laugh at that now, but there may be a day where you're gonna say, Christian, you're 42, and you see, you can't ask me this because I could take us down a really dark path. I mean, just right now, I could ruin everybody's day with more, not morbid, yeah, with just like life and death. But I'll not do that. I'm gonna say I feel good, dude. I mean, as long as I stay focused and I'm driven and I've got goals in life and I'm enjoying each day, dude, it really is just a number. I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean, when you control what you can, whatever you can't, don't. So I'm just enjoying it, dude. The 30s, they're really not bad. Like, I swear, they're really not bad because the world's moving with us. I don't know if you've noticed this, Nick. The world is moving with us, not past us.
Yeah.
Everything is millennial culture. All of it. Everything. Music, style, everything is just it's like moving with us. Like Gen Z, no offense, y'all have no substance, y'all got no style, nothing. You got them stupid ass haircuts. That's about it. Where you shave, like, I don't know what you guys are doing. But yeah, dude, I'm good, man. How are you doing today?
I'm here, man. I'm alive. Happy to be here. I'm 29. So
I feel like you've been 29 for 4 years.
Okay, first of all, fuck you. Well, I mean, I do too. Because
how old were you? How old were you when we started this?
Started the pod and everything?
Yeah. Was I in my 20s when we started? Or was I already in my 30s?
No,
I can't remember.
You were 29. I was 26.
God
damn. Yep. I was still
now
married. Now you're taking me to a blast from the past. Yeah, that was a while ago. I mean, to tell you how long it's been, my ex-wife is moving in with her new boyfriend next month. So it's been a while.
You're taking us down the dark path.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, it's I'd be remiss if I didn't call it out. I know how you are. I know how I am. Most of us are as we get older.
Mhm.
We don't want to fucking talk about it. Like it's not that it's not even that it's like, oh, I feel so old. It's just like once you hit 21, who cares anymore? Like, it's just another day. You don't feel any different the morning you woke up 32 than you did the night you went to bed 31. Like, it physically, like, it's
Right.
not really different. So it's just a day and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I gotta say, I think me and Baldy Jack were the first two to wish you happy birthday on social media because we both did it right after midnight. So
Yeah, and I woke
Sydney
up.
might have beat us. Sydney might have beat us,
No,
but
you beat City. Yeah, yeah, I woke up to, your fucking old text from you. Then I was like, "Geez, that's nice," but then I opened it up, then I saw you sent the happy birthday before that, but I got the notification for the "You're fucking old." I was like, this is gonna be one of them birthdays."
yeah,
So,
yeah.
no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you hit me up at I was asleep, but yeah, you hit me up at, like, midnight my time, so,
Hey, I
uh
remember friends' birthdays. So that's one of my special talents. I don't know. I wouldn't call it that, but
yeah, Facebook is a hell of a gift, isn't it?
actually, Christian, I don't ever use Facebook. I deleted my Facebook. I did make a new one, but I get on like once a month, and we're not friends
Yeah,
on my new Facebook, so you can't blame Facebook. I just remember.
I
All
don't know.
right.
You're right, you're right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is the everything but horror episode, guys. We've been teasing this one. We're gonna talk comedies, we're gonna talk action. We might even fucking talk some rom-coms. I don't know. Who knows? We're just gonna talk about anything and everything that comes to mind in other genres. But before we do,
Does it even have to be movies? Like, if we
no,
just get
no.
on, you know what I'm saying?
Pop culture, we can talk about anything and everything. That's totally fine. But before we do, I'd be remiss if we did not at least give a quick summation
Yeah.
of what we thought of the first Omen. We both saw it, and we're gonna keep this brief, guys, because I really want this to be anything but horror.
Sure.
Um, I told Christian how I felt about it when I got out. It's my favorite horror movie since X, and that's a high bar. And this is also coming from someone that isn't a hardcore Omen fan. I loved it. I thought it was artistic. I thought it was smart. I thought it was incredibly acted, incredibly shot. Like everything about it. It was what so many of the Conjuring universe movies want to be. It had that gothic atmosphere, that sense of dread and suspense and tension throughout the movie. It wasn't wrought with jump scares. There's a moment in the movie. I won't get into too much detail, but when I knew the movie was really working for me, obviously the hand coming out of the cooch was fucking nasty, but when I knew the movie was really working for me was when she's locked in the room and the burned chick is like rising up out of the darkness and slowly walking
Mm,
toward her. That was
mm,
really effective because you could have played on a cheap jump scare there, and they didn't. They did not play on a jump scare. It built, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking gnarly." And then the scene after the car accident where she's just fucking like seizing out in the street. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, just killer movie, killer movie. We've talked about it. I'm not going to give 5 stars unless I feel something earns it. I felt like this one earned it. It's the first 5 star I've given since God. I didn't even give Late Night with the Devil 5, and I loved that movie. But it's
mhm,
been a while since I have. So those are my thoughts. I haven't really talked to you. You literally just said really good movie. That's all you said to me about it. So
mhm. I would echo a lot of what you said, to be honest with you. Even it was hard to it was really hard to almost accept the positive reviews about it because I'm so used to just seeing what I just call artificial at this point when it comes to these kinds of legacy. I consider this a legacy sequel, whatever you want to call it, a legacy entry, I guess is the way to put it, or a legacy prequel, whatever, right? I thought this movie stood on its own 2 feet at the end of the day, which I was just so shocked by. Um, I mean, I thought it was really respectful to The Omen, but it was its own movie. That it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I think just the punk rocker in me would take, Late Night with the Devil a little bit more than this in terms of which one I prefer, but I think I rate them the same. They're both just incredible films. The only reason I wouldn't give this I think I gave it 4, but the only reason I wouldn't give it 5, I totally respect you give it. I mean, I can't even poke fun at you. I really have no argument to that. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 5 is 'cause it's not a movie that's really breaking new ground or treading anything, new, right? It's a prequel to a movie that I consider to be an actual, like, a legitimate masterpiece. But with that being said, just, like, the fact that it's as good as it is and it stands on its own 2 feet and it doesn't feel superficial at all. It does its own thing is, quite frankly, remarkable. I think this will be a movie of the year at by the end of the year, which is gonna pretty much happen in 2 weeks at this rate, the way we age. But, like, at the end of the year, this is definitely gonna be, uh, a fan favorite without question. It's just sensational, absolutely sensational. And visually, man, this movie fucked with you. Like you said, it really wasn't a jump scare movie or anything like that. And um, visually, man, they went for it. Like in another world, the visuals you got from this would be like something you would see from like a modern Prince of Darkness or something, right? Like the idea of the devil as this unhumanly beastly thing is always what I think of, not something that talks and looks at me or looks like, Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat, right? Just like it's a monster. So, all the depictions were, just sensational. It's just a fantastic movie. I implore people to, legitimately go see it in theaters just because it'll creep into the theater. It's one of those movies, man. I guess it's like an A24 movie, but what does that mean anymore, Nick? Does that just mean, like, it's just actually good? Like, I feel like that's almost what that means by this point. It's not
Uh,
it's not really an A24 movie, but it kind of is just because it's not artificial, it feels legitimate. It feels like a real fucking movie. That's what I mean.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
And that's kind of similar to what I said when I got out of it. It's like, and people that would ask me, I was like, it just feels. It, this almost sounds redundant, but it's so cinematic. Like it feels like cinema. Like it feels. It's very artfully done. Like I don't. You have these horror movies. It is everything the first Nun wanted to be. I'll put it that way. It nails the atmosphere, it nails the tone, it nails the time period, it nails all of that. Uh, it's just yeah, I and this is her directorial debut in the sense of like feature film. She's done a short film and directed a season of television, I believe, but this is her first like studio film and just incredible. I mean, just she did such a good job. Her name's Arkasha Stevenson. I really, really hope to see her do more because she did a phenomenal job in this. And also, I just want to say really quick before we get off the topic, shame on
Mhm.
20th Century Fox, man. They really dropped the ball on this one. They did not market it nearly well enough. They dropped it at a really weird time. And I don't know why you give a prequel to The Omen a $30 million budget. Like it a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it's going to get lost in the shuffle when it's all said and done. It won't lose money, but it's not really going to make money. So this isn't going to be a starter
Are you
for The
saying
Omen.
are you saying that they gave it too much money?
I feel like
Or
30 minutes. Yeah, I think you could have done this for 15. I really do. And
I
that's
would've
what the
I would've guessed it would've been somewhere around
yeah.
that ballpark, to be honest with you. I don't know
Yeah.
where all that money well, I guess I can say I don't know. I don't know.
Part of it, I'm sure, was locations. Part of it, I'm sure, the camera work is great. There's so many aerial shots and stuff like that. So I'm sure a lot of it went into the technical side of it. But at the same time, I'm just like, guys, we're making a prequel to a movie that's almost 50 years old. Like, it's just like, and it's The Omen. It's not Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. Like, this isn't a movie that's going to. You're not going to get the masses out to see this. It
Yeah, as
opened
as
with
much as that pains me to say, I agree with that, even though to me, Omen's one of the greatest movies of all time, but I
yeah.
agree with that.
I think its reputation's been sullied over the years because everybody hated the remake. A lot of the sequels were what Omen 4 was straight to television.
Well, I mean, 2 and 3 are great, but,
I like 2,
they
yeah.
don't they don't they don't they don't, yeah, they just don't you don't hear about it much.
It's like The Exorcist. As much as and I think you and I both agree, as much as we like The
Oh, of
Exorcist
course, none of
3,
them have the
it's a
staying
well, it's a
power.
I'm just saying it's a series that didn't need sequels. Like it's just this. I don't know if these series are really series that people are like, God, I can't wait to watch the next one. Like they're pretty good
Probably not.
self-contained stories.
To be honest with you, like, I don't really watch the sequels for The Omen that much. I love the first one a lot. Well, the second one's good, but I mean, I get everything I need out of the first one.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'd put the second one 2nd or 3rd best at this point. Maybe 2nd,
Yeah.
you know? I'd have to revisit part 2, but yeah, sensational movie. To me, so far, I'm good. I saw Late Night with the Devil, and I saw this movie, and I'm happy. So far, I'm enjoying this year, quite frankly, probably more just those 2 movies alone, I think are gonna have more staying power than anything I saw last year.
No, I can't
They're
wait to get both. I can't wait to get both of them on 4K. I can't wait. Um, so yeah, guys, go out and see the movie. Support it if you can. It really is a good movie, and this is coming from someone that's not a big fan of the original, and someone who is a big fan of the original. And we're both saying it's really good. Go check it out.
Yeah.
But based off of performance so far, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get the second Omen.
I
So
don't know. What are you gonna do?
yeah.
That's
So
fine, that's fine.
here we are. Here we are at anything but horror. I guess I'll just let you start it off. What's the first thing that you want to talk about that isn't horror?
I really have no fucking clue. I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I really don't know. I just don't even know if I need it doesn't even need to be movies to me. We can literally talk about any fucking thing. Like, I could ask you, what is the most o like, let me just get it started. Let me just ask you a random question.
Okay.
Tell me the most overrated soda that you just think tastes like shit, but people swear by it.
Ooh. Um, I don't know if I've met a soda that I think tastes like shit. I'll just say in general, diet. I just don't like diet pop. I hate the aftertaste of diet pop, and I get why. It's
Did
not
you
as
grow up with
sugary.
it?
No, no.
See, I did.
I grew
It
up
was
with
shoved down my
like
throat.
I grew up with store brand pop. My mom would buy Coca-Cola, but that was hers. We drank the store brand shit.
But you drank regular. I'm saying you didn't drink
Yeah,
diet
yeah.
soda.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. I drank diet soda as a baby, and drinking a regular soda to me would feel like swallowing a brick. It just does, I guess, because of the sugar. But dude, if I can't eat, if I drink a regular Coke, I'm full.
I love
I
that.
wouldn't be able to eat nothing.
I love that. As I'm
Do you have
sitting
Mr.
here
Do you have Mr. Pibb by you?
with my
You know what I'm
Coke and
talking
my
about?
yeah, yeah.
Is it the Freddy cup from, Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, no, Mr. Pibb that's Coke's Dr. Pepper.
But see, I don't so we have a Captain D's in town, and that when I say if you want Mr. Pibb and where I live, the only place you can get it is at Captain D's. I don't even see it in the stores. I don't it's not in my Walmart.
Yeah,
It's not at my, Brookshire's, whatever it's called. It's not. But we have if you want Mr. Pibb, you can get it at Captain D's, which I think in other parts of the world, it's called,
Long John
Long
Silver's.
John's
Yeah.
Long John Silver's.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Yeah, no,
I've had it before, but I can't remember if it tastes any better or worse.
it doesn't taste better, but it's really not all that different. I mean, I mean, speaking of which, the great debate, I look, I think that Coke is superior to Pepsi. I know it's blasphemous for some people, but I just think it is. I don't know. And they're different. They're different. It is less bitter. It has less of a bite to it, and it's sweeter. And Coke, because of that cinnamon, there's cinnamon in Coke, and it makes it burn. Like there's a burn to it.
I can't remember if this happened or not. Speaking of Coke, though, when Stranger Things I think it was season 2.
Oh yeah,
It
I
could
got
have
the
been
can.
3
I
or
got the
2.
can, buddy. Yep.
You have a new Coke?
Yeah, yeah. I have it on top of my bookshelf.
Where did you find it? Was it at Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart.
Fuck. Did you drink one? Was it actual the recipe for the new Coke?
Yeah, no, I drank one and I didn't drink another one.
Did it taste like
So
shit? Because they said it tasted like shit back in the
yeah,
day.
it was kind of ass. Like I mean, not like I drank the whole thing, but I was like, yeah, it's probably best y'all didn't go with this formula because it's just not. I
What
don't
does it
know.
taste like?
It's it's like if I could describe it, it tastes flatter. Like, it just tastes kind of flat.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you are when it comes to soda or pop or whatever y'all call it. I fucking hate flat pop. Like, it is terrible. Like, the
Yeah.
worst thing is opening a 2-liter in the fridge, pouring yourself a glass, and going to take a drink and realizing it's flat and being like, "Oh my god."
I don't know if it's true or not. I'll sometimes I'll watch these, like, conspiracy videos about, like, just all kinds of shit, and one of them was that Coke supposedly did the new Coke and backed off its distribution of the regular previous like, the Coke we know, which is just called Coke Classic, I guess.
Yeah.
But they did new Coke as a way to boost sales of Coke Classic in a way to, like they purposely made it taste like shit. That way people would demand Coke back. I don't know if that's true or not. I also hear that Coke and Pepsi are, like, the same company. Like, that's another thing people always say. It's
They're
like they're their own competition.
they are. I don't know. I don't know.
You said that
You
like you fucking knew.
I mean, they are and they aren't. Like, they are competitors, but yeah, I feel like they almost they kinda cannibalize each other. It's kinda weird, but at the same time, I like, because they are competitors. They're not supposed to be in cahoots with one another. Like, that's not. But
Are you the kind of person if you go out to a restaurant, "Hey, what do you wanna drink?" I'll take a Coke." "I'm sorry, sir, we only have Pepsi." Do you throw a bitch fit? Do you
no,
say, "Fuck that, no," or do you just drink the Pepsi?
I drink the Pepsi. I
Do you
I
have
don't.
friends that do throw the fits, though?
My mother hates Pepsi. Like, I don't get it. She's the same way with like, certain restaurants. She will not do Burger King. Under any circumstances, she won't do it. She fucking hates Burger King. But yeah, she hates Pepsi. Like, she just won't settle for Pepsi. If we go to a restaurant and they say they have Pepsi products, and my mom orders a Coke and they say they have Pepsi products, she's like, just give me like a sweet tea then. Like, that's my mom. She is so lame about it. It's honestly like not embarrassing, but it's just like, you're doing too much, mom. Like, you just I don't know.
You know what this makes me think of? You ever have a friend that'll tell you something like you deciding like you want to go eat something like what do you want to get? You want to get Burger King? You want to get dude, let's go to McDonald's. They get the best Coke. And you just don't want to like make waves. Like I'm this kind of person. I don't really say anything, but in my head I say to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? They got the best Coke. It's the same fucking shit from everywhere else. They get it in those big fucking bags and they got the you know what I'm talking about? It's the fountain style. How the fuck is it better than anywhere else that does the same thing? It's the same fucking thing. You gonna tell me they put fucking what were they putting something in their Coke? Like, what are you talking about that it tastes I see people say this shit all the time. Maybe
It
I'm just
does taste
cynical.
different. It does taste different. No.
Explain to me how it's different from a fucking another restaurant that
Okay.
uses the fountain style. It's the same god
So
unless you get it to where they run they run out because it's not it's because I worked at KFC, it was those big fucking bags, right?
yeah.
And you knew when it was running out of Coke because it just got watered down.
Mhm.
Like, if you get it from where it's always watered down, that's fine, but, like, everybody gets the same shit. So explain to me how McDonald's Coke tastes better than anywhere else.
I cannot tell you how. I don't know how, and I don't know why. But I can just and somebody listening might be more knowledgeable on this, and they can tell us, "Here, this is why it tastes different." But it does taste different, and I don't know if it's the way I'm serious. I don't know if it's the filtration, like, through the actual, like, dispenser. I don't know. I
The
don't know what
McFiltration.
it is. Yes, I don't know what it is, but it's different. And it is true that if you're going to a fast food place, like, for example, McDonald's Coke is great. Wendy's Coke is shit. I hate Wendy's
See,
Coke.
I can't I really like, I can't believe
Mm,
you're this way. I
no,
can't wrap my head around how
no,
you can say
no.
Wendy's Coke tastes like shit. Did
It
you
not
like, what are you talking about? Did you go to every Wendy's and sample the Coke? What are you talking
It's every Wendy's Coke tastes the same. Everybody watching right
Yes,
now,
everything.
Christian, everybody watching right now is probably so angry at you because they're like,
I
you have
just
no idea what you're talking about. Like it
I
is,
don't know.
it's just different. It's different. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. If you asked me to, there's no way I could, but it's different. It is different. And I will tell you right now, it is. Look, McDonald's Coke is delicious. It just is. Wendy's shits on McDonald's when it comes to chicken. Their chicken nuggets, unparalleled. And their burgers.
That's a bold thing to
No,
say.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Dude, the
McDonald's
McNugget?
chicken, yeah, McDonald's chicken nuggets are barely a step above Burger King's, which are basically just gristle. You don't eat Burger King's chicken nuggets under any circumstances. McDonald's are passable, but you cannot, you don't rival Wendy's. You
Dude,
don't rival Wendy's.
don't you miss like, does you I don't know because 'cause you've got the little kid. Does McDonald's still do, like, tie-ins for, like right now, Kung Fu Panda is, like, really big in theaters.
Yeah, their
Do any
Happy
of
Meals
these
right now have Kung Fu Panda toys.
so why would I go into McDonald's sometimes? Because if the drive-through is long, my wife would always tell me, like, "Hey, just go inside, I guarantee you can get it quicker," and sometimes that's true, but, like, I'll go in there, and when we were kids, they would have those you remember they'd have those giant
There's a
they
big
would have these
stand with like
display things with
plexiglass. Yep,
and
yep.
you could see they'd feed the companies would send them this wall, and they'd have these toys inside, and you'd be, "Oh, look at that, look at that." It used to hype you up as a kid. Like, dude, I don't know, is it different for your kid nowadays? Because when I was a kid, dude, the idea of getting Mickey D's was like it
I'm getting
was
a
a
toy. I'm
oh, it
getting
was an
good
oh
food
shit
and a
moment.
toy. Yeah,
It was like Christmas.
yeah.
Is your kid the same way, or does he not care about that? Or do you kinda
Uh,
have to make them care?
he just likes nuggets. Like half the time, the toy is just like an added bonus for him. He doesn't really care. He just likes nuggets a lot. But I will tell you that my love of McDonald's and the toys started at a really young age for me. And my grandma
Yeah.
tells the story all the time. When I wasn't even 2 yet, and I guess my grandparents were watching me, and they were driving in the car. We were on the highway, and every time we would pass McDonald's on the highway, my grandma didn't understand what I was saying in the back seat. I was going like, "Man, man," and she's like, "What? What?" And like finally, she could understand that I was saying McDonald's, and she was like, "Oh, you want McDonald's?" And so they pulled over and got me McDonald's, and I just remember, and my mom tells the story all the time too, because she thinks it's so fucking funny. And when I was actually like a kid, I would use that against my mom. We'd like drive past McDonald's and I'd say that to try to get her to go to McDonald's because, yeah, it was the same way for me. It was as a kid, you were getting I don't know what it was for us. Our standards for fast food when we're young are not very high. Let's just call a spade a spade. So we could go to a fast food joint that was just but we were
Yeah.
fucking hyped because it wasn't the shit we were eating at home all the time. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, my mom wasn't a bad cook, but it was just like there was something to be said about, oh, hell yeah, like we're eating out. Like we're not eating at home. Like, this is awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was you're getting good food, different food, and you're getting a toy. And like, I don't know if it's just my kid. I can't speak to anybody else listening, but yeah, he doesn't really care about the toys. They're just kind of like an afterthought. Like he's just
How often do you eat Mickey D's?
not very. I worked there when I was 16.
Oh, that'll
Um,
ruin it for you. That'll ruin
yeah,
it for you.
yeah, I worked there when I was 16, so I don't really eat it much anymore. I love their fries and their Coke, of course. No matter what Christian says, it is different. But I just, yeah, I'm not a big fan. If I'm gonna go through a fast food like burger place, it's gonna be somewhere like, it's gonna be like Wendy's. I just love Wendy's burgers and their nuggets. I just think they're fucking
Wendy's
great.
chicken sandwiches, I'm always down to clown with those, like, I love but what is that Burger King chicken sandwich where it's shaped like a sub? It's like a is that the is it you know what I'm
Hey,
talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I see it on the menu. I will never order that shit because, like I said, I think Burger King's chicken is straight up gristle. I will not do it. Their chicken is shit. I don't care. Any of you watching right now that's like, oh, I like Burger King's chicken. You are insane. It's not good.
No, but the Coke tastes different.
It does. It does.
That's scandalous.
I can't wait to go through the comments on this one because people are gonna be like, Christian, are you high? Like it does.
Dude.
I want you tomorrow. I want you to maybe not tomorrow. Document this on Instagram. You're gonna go to Wendy's, you're gonna order a Coke. You're gonna go to McDonald's,
Mhm.
you're gonna order a Coke, and you're gonna taste them side by side. And you
Okay,
fucking
that's
tell
an
me they don't
idea.
taste different.
That's an I that you know, this is what I was gonna get at just a second ago. Yesterday, Sydney was like and I have something else I wanna talk about after this, but yesterday, I got home from the movies and everything, and Sydney I was editing or something, and she got home while I was doing that, and I was like, "Hey, I'll be out in a minute, blah, blah, blah." I got out, and she's like, "What do you wanna do for dinner?" And I was like, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, pick. You know, if you want me to cook something, I'll cook something. If you wanna grab something, let's go grab something." And in the last 5 years, I could probably count on both hands the amount of times I've had McDonald's. I just don't go there that much. I don't know why. I love Taco Bell. Like, I go there a lot. But I was like, "You know what, Sydney? Why can't we just get a bunch of McNuggets and fries? Just let's do it." So I did. Dude, eating Mickey D's yesterday, I don't know, it was I felt as weird as it sounds, it felt so nostalgic. Something about McDonald's just reminds me of my childhood.
Yes.
Because that was like the I guess because it was the play place and everything and just the smell of McDonald's food, dude.
Bro, I
I
went to the
don't
play
know.
place once. I was at a play place once at McDonald's where a kid had shit. I'm not even kidding. He shit in the play
In the
place.
pit? Did he
Oh,
shit
no,
in the
dude,
pit?
in one of the tunnels, like, up top that you crawl through, there was just a fucking turd, and they had to, like, close it down and clean it. Yeah, he just shit, just laid a dookie in the fucking play place.
When you
We don't
do
think about how nasty those places are. They're nasty.
oh, dude, we were diving in those ball pits, and I'm
I know,
sure kids were just
snot,
pissing,
fucking
shitting.
spit. Yeah, it's gross. I'm really weird about taking my kid to places like that, and it's not a symptom of COVID. Like, it's not like, "Oh, it's because of COVID." No, I've just literally always been that way because kids are fucking gross, first of all. Like, they're
Oh, of
just
course.
gross, and he'll get sick, and if he gets sick, one thing you'll know, guys, when you're a parent, your kid gets sick, you're
You're
getting
gonna
sick,
get sick.
and I don't like to get sick. So, yeah.
See, it's like when you look back at the way the designs are of these fast food joints, I kinda think this is why people are miserable nowadays, right? Because nothing looks fun anymore. Whether it's inappropriate or not, Taco Bell used to look like a big ass, like, Mexican looking building, right? The design of it and everything was it was bubbly, and then that's not Carl, who is that?
That's Zeke's, and he kicked over my fucking ring
Zeke.
light.
But Mickey D's, dude, I
Bro, they had a
remember
chihuahua. They had a chihuahua that said Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yo Quiero Taco Bell, yeah, the Taco
Yeah,
Bell dog. I remember the
yeah.
Taco Bell dog died when I was in high school, and I was like, "Some bitch is still alive." Um, but Mickey D's, dude, what they built a new one by my Walmart, and it's really nice. So, I mean, I like the place, but dude, all these buildings, like the Taco Bells and the Burger Kings and stuff now, dude, the designs of them, they're just fucking rectangular
No,
buildings.
I know what you're talking about. The thing I think of is,
The
personally,
arches,
it looked like a cantina. Like Taco
the
Bell would
Taco
look
Bells.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
would
They
look like
look
a
they look
cantina.
Mexican, like, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
bubbly, and the insides were like these neons and
Mhm.
shit, and
Yep.
you know, in Saint Bernard Parish, I'll never forget our Mickey D's on Judge Perez. It'd be so cool if somebody actually lived on Judge Perez or near it that is listening right now. But on Judge Perez, we had the McDonald's, and it had the indoor play place. And dude, it was an asylum in there. And we had the birthday parties there. And I tell some of these people now that I had birthday parties all the time as a kid at McDonald's, and like, what? We talk. You had a birthday at
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, like that was Destination America back then. Like every kid in the late 90s had their birthday party at one of three places where we lived. Mickey D's,
Chuck E.
Penny Lane.
Cheese. Chuck E.
We didn't
Cheese.
have we didn't have a Chuck E. Cheese in below New Orleans, but my cousins lived in Metairie, and that's all they did was Chuck E. Cheese party. But if you lived in St. Bernard Parish, you had it at the Mickey D's on Judge Perez, Penny Lanes, the bowling alley, or Skateland. We were either skating, we were bowling, or we were eating the nuggets. And then, dude, the ball pit was insane back then. Like there was a huge pit. It was a 2-story play place, and they had those things like I'll never forget. My brother, I thought he was gonna die. You know those like it's like this tower of nets, and
Yeah.
like if you walk on it, you
Mhm.
can kind of stand, but if you kind of hit the wrong way, you'll fall through. I'll never forget. My brother went down like 4 really fast when he was little and thought he was gonna die. But
Dude, yeah,
yeah,
I'm terrified of my son going up in those because,
do they
like,
have them anymore?
yeah, yeah, we go to this place that's local here.
Oh, it's not a Mickey D's though.
No, no, but there's a place that's local. I don't even know if it's local. It might be nationwide, but it's called Get Air, and it's like an indoor trampoline park. And
Oh,
I
those are
take him,
popular now.
yeah, I take him there at least twice a month. Because it's close to the house, and he loves it. And there's this one section of it where it's a really big indoor playground, and
Mhm.
there's like these like it's like netting like you're talking about that goes up like to all the way to the top of the playground. It's pretty fucking tall. It's like 20 feet. And he tried to climb up that way the other day, and he was getting confused. And like I was like, you know what, just go up the regular way, because like I get scared because all it takes is your foot slipping and getting caught in
Right.
there and then bending your leg and you're hanging
Oh,
upside down and shit. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I never thought that made sense for little kids. You know what I mean?
well,
Like,
how
I
are
just,
those places not getting sued once a day, twice
oh,
a day? How are they not get do you sign a form when you go in there?
yes, yes, you do. You have to sign a
Oh,
waiver.
there you go. Well, that answers it.
Yeah, yeah, you have to sign a
Do you know how
waiver.
many do you know how many broken fucking bones have happened in these places with these kids,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
parents gotta drag them to the fucking hospital?
Like, oh, what was he doing? He fucking got his leg caught at, the trampoline park and shattered it in 8
Dude,
places.
dude, what a novel concept though for just, like, kids. You know, you, like, shove them full of sugar and then throw them in a building that's covered in trampoline floors.
The funny thing is too, dude, he jumps a little bit on the trampolines, but he wants to spend most of the time in on the indoor playground. Like, and I'm always like, dude, let's go jump. There's like 100 fucking trampolines. It's a floor made of trampolines. Like, let's go. And he's like, I'm gonna go down the slide again. I'm like, all right, whatever. But there's a big pit full of foam blocks, and you can just like jump into it. I just grab his ass and fucking chuck him in there all the time, and he loves it.
I've always wanted to do that. There's this funny clip on it's always on Instagram or TikTok of this, like, heavy set woman jumping in it, and they have to fucking get they have to get all the staff to, like, make a chain to try to get her big ass out.
Dude, it's hard to get out of those. It is hard to get out
Well,
of
I
those.
imagine it is, because
Yeah,
what can you grab on? Like, if
nothing.
you can't grab on the balls that the blocks will just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
See, I wish yeah, this is why I'm so ready to have a kid one day, because like, I wanna do all this shit, and I need an excuse to do it, you know?
Yeah,
Like, I
because
just need an
it's not
excuse.
we're weird if we go without a kid, but if you have a kid, hey, you can do anything.
Yeah, that's it, dude. But it's so fun. My dad wasn't like that when I was a kid. My dad never wanted to do fun shit like that. Like, he would take me to it, but, like, it's weird, like, he was never this is why I think, millennials are, like, the first generation that's growing up, but not acting old. I wouldn't even say not acting grown up, because to me, acting grown up just means being responsible and paying your fucking bills and being a decent human, but, like, my dad when I think about my parents, it wasn't that they weren't fun. But my dad wouldn't do shit like that. Like, he didn't seem it was weird. My dad, he liked some certain things, but if he wasn't into it, he didn't give a fuck about it. Like, like, taking us toy shopping, it was like going to the dentist with him.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. No, it was the same way. I mean, I didn't have a dad, but, like, my stepdad or, like, my grandpa, these things were the same way. It was almost like you'd go somewhere and they'd set you loose, and they'd
Like,
go
"Hurry
sit
up.
in the adult section or whatever, and they'd be like, "Yeah, like, hurry up, do what you're
Here's
gonna
your price
do."
point." Yeah.
And that's one of the cool things, as much as, like, Gen Z and all this new shit, a lot of it is, like, really lame. One of the coolest things is this emphasis that's been put in recent years on, like, fathers being not just present physically, but, like, in the moment with their kids. Like, there's been this push, a lot of dads being like, because there was this stigma, this, like, there was it was like almost accepted that like, oh well, the moms are the ones that do all the stuff with their kids and do all the nurturing and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, dude, dads can be cool too. Like we can do these things with our kids. And I think that a lot of dads, and rightfully so, got sick and tired of hearing that like, I don't know, some of the social like barriers and the stereotypes are getting broken down. And I like that a lot. It's the same way with like, oh, well, the stereotype of like, I'm guys, I'm going off of stereotypes. I do not agree with this shit. But like, oh, like a woman should be doing this, or the father should be doing this. A lot of those barriers are getting broken down. And that shit's really cool because I had a very similar upbringing to you in that way, where it was just like, I don't know, it was almost expected like the maternal figure wasn't gonna partake in a lot of that stuff. They were just kind of like, it was like pulling teeth, like you said, like going to the dentist, like, okay, whatever, this is what you want to do, have fucking fun, basically.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I was gonna ask you about this earlier. So it's not that my wife doesn't want to not do this stuff with me, but she doesn't want to do it at the rate I do it, which isn't even really a lot, which kind of says more so to the average, moviegoer nowadays. The I'm not even saying that I know anybody that thinks it's weird to do this, but the going to the movies alone thing.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a stigma around that. I don't really care. God knows I don't care about stigmas because, once you do get to a certain age, you really stop giving a fuck. But I kind of find going to the movies alone like kind of
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah, awesome.
You know, when Cindy gets excited about something, I'm excited. Like she loves Studio Ghibli. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's
Yeah.
basically the Disney animation in Japan.
Hmm.
And Totoro and Howling's Castle, whatever they're called. She's covered in tattoos now, Sydney is. It's crazy. She keeps telling me you need to get another tattoo, but I don't know if I want to get more. But yeah, anyway, she's covered in tattoos of all that shit. And they had one come out last year. I forget the name of it. They're weird too, Nick. These movies. They're like fever dream movies.
I had a girl a couple months ago that I had met on a dating app ask me to go to one with her. Needless to say, we didn't go on a date because I was like,
The boy in the the boy in the
no,
heron.
the boy and the heron. No, this was before that. This was like a year ago. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I mean, to your larger point, yeah, dude, I've always, I've never cared about going by myself. And it is true. There is a stigma in the sense of like, I don't know. You get these fucking edge lords on social media that'll be like, "Oh, you're a fucking loser. Like, look at this guy going to the movies by himself." Guess what? I spend half as much as I would if I went with someone else. I don't have to share any of my shit. I have an open seat next to me. I mean, go down the list of reasons why it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I just find it chill. It's just a lot of these movies, Sydney, just like, you know what, Christian, just go. I'll wait till I get home. And like even like Dune 2, for instance, like she wants to see it. She liked Dune, but like I'm like, let's go do it. Let's go do it.
Mhm.
And by the time I finally was getting ready to do it, she was just like, she had
Dude, one
work
of
the
the
next morning. I was on
what
graveyard, so I went at 9 o'clock, and she just didn't go. But I was like, oh, it's fucking great. You
well,
got to
that's the
see it.
thing. It's like when Brooke and I were together, uh, she she was not a big fan of like going to the movies in general. Even if it was a movie she wanted to see, she was always like, I can just wait till it comes out on,
Yeah.
Blu-ray. And I'm like, I can't do that, especially in the space that you and I occupy online. Like having any kind of presence like that online is like, I have to see this, especially if it's a big deal because people are going to talk about it. I'm not going to be able to avoid it. And one of the worst things was it was like pulling teeth getting her to go to the Batman. Even though she loves Batman, she loves Robert Pattinson. She just didn't want to go to the movies and sit for 3 hours, and I was like,
I can't falter on that, dude. I
I
couldn't do it.
I understand, but I was like, I am not seeing this in theaters. So you're coming with me because I know you want to see it, and you'll get mad if I go see it without you because you want to see it. So suck it up and let's go see it. And we did. Um, and that was actually the last movie we saw in theaters together before we separated. Did that play a role, Christian? I don't know. But I
I
can tell
sure
you
hope it didn't fucking play a role,
no,
you know?
no, no,
That'd be petty.
it didn't. But I can tell you that she was very anti-X. I remember when X came out, I was really excited for it, and I wanted her to come with me, and she was like, "Absolutely not. I'm not going to go see that trashy porn movie. No way." I was like, "All
That's
right,
fair.
whatever."
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
pretty good description
I'm
of
not.
X.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you're not allowed to have your reasons. It's totally fine. But like, yeah, but no,
Well,
I love going to the
look,
movies by myself, man.
I gotta just ask this. Is and I know it's a horror movie, but I don't care. I don't think the audience gives a fuck. It's just a free flowing conversation. Is X high art? It's really not even about horror genre. Like, the way people talk about X, is it is it a high art movie or is it just a trashy good movie? Like, fuck the it's all in the eyes of the beholder. Like, no. Is it high art or is it just a sleazy, gross, fun horror film? I
You want
can't
you want me to you, you want
there's
me to
no
get
in
on my
between on this.
soapbox? Is that what you're asking me to do? You want me to get on my
I'm not asking you
soapbox?
to get on a soapbox, just
I
tell me your
will.
honest answer.
It is. I believe it's high art through a grindhouse lens, through a sleazy lens.
So no, you oh
No, no,
god.
no, 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 no. Shut the fuck up. You asked
Right
me, so
up.
I'm gonna explain what I mean. But basically, the reason that movie resonated with me so much, it wasn't the fact that I got to see Brittany Snow naked. That was great. Wasn't the fact that we got to see Mia Goth. That was great. It was like, because honestly, believe it or not, I know this might be sacrilege. I don't really care about nudity in horror movies. I never really have. It's just kind of like, especially if it doesn't make sense for the story, if it's just boobs for boobs' sake, I'm not going to complain, but I'm just
Oh,
like,
I
what's the point?
love boobs. I love big titties. I always
Yeah,
will.
no, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying like I could take or leave most of the time if I'm just like whatever. So I didn't really care about that aspect of it. The reason that that I will always argue that X is high art is because that I think that X is at its core a movie about it's a movie about a it's a message. There's a message. No, no, I'm trying to find the right words. Hold on,
I'm
hold on.
not
Shut up, shut up.
I know.
Okay. The message of the movie really resonated with me because it's about like wasted youth. It's about like it's my biggest fear. Obviously, we've talked about it on the podcast many times, death and like getting older and all the things that you once had that you can't have anymore and taking for
Mhm.
granted the things that you used to have while and maybe wanting you live vicariously through younger people and you're like I took that for granted. I miss that. I wish I would have done more with that time. And the entire message of X is about time and the passage of time and the time we're never going to get back. And some people, like Pearl, go to the lengths of, I'm going to punish young people because I'm envious of what you have that I don't have anymore. That's the whole message of the movie. And it fucking resonated with me as I'm watching it in the theater, even with all the boobies and the blood and the gore. That's what I walked away from it with. And I remember coming home that night and Brooke got home from work. She asked me what I thought of it. And I was like telling her, and I was like, I'll never forget. I said, like the message of the movie just like really resonated with me. And she sarcastically, because she knew the subject matter, was like, yeah, sure it did. And I was like, no, you dumbass. Like it's not about that. It was about the message of like wasted youth and the passage of time and dying and getting old. Like that really resonated with me. So I would argue if a movie has a message like that, that it deals with really gracefully and really effectively, that's art. That's art. Sleazy for when you say sleazy, there's no point to those movies aside from to be sleazy. So when you ask me, is it art? Yeah, I
I
yes, it
asked if it was
has a
high
message.
art. Like,
Yeah, and
okay,
I would say so.
for instance, back I'm looking at my Back to the Future 3 poster. Same thing. The message is about time. Make your future a good one. Be in charge of your destiny. Is Back to the Future 3 high art?
It's all in the delivery too. I mean, Back to the Future 3 doesn't try to take itself seriously.
Like,
It's a very
I'm a simple guy. Okay? I'm a yes or a no guy. If you ask me a movie that's high art, I'm gonna tell you Schindler's List, right?
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna tell you something like that
there are parameters in
because
horror, and we know that. Like, you're not always going to get Schindler's List or The Shawshank Redemption with a high art horror film. It's just not always going to happen that way. I mean, Hereditary is high art. Yet there's excessive gore. There's random naked old people. Like there's shock for shock's sake moments, but no one would say that's not a high art movie. I think that the high art in horror is different. Sometimes, a lot of the time, there can be
Well,
very high.
is that what people call, elevator horror? What the fuck
Yeah,
they call
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Elevator?
and I hate that term because it's so fucking pretentious. Because you get so many Gen Z motherfuckers that are like, "I love elevated horror. I'm so much smarter than you." Like, no, shut up. Like, the Babadook still sucks. I don't care. Shut up. You can say it's good. It's not good. But no, yeah, I hate the term. But yes, and I would say X
Well,
is that.
okay.
I mean,
I'm not arguing with you. I asked.
I know, but you laughed when I said it is. I do feel like it's artful through
I
through a,
respe I
a
res
grindhouse lens.
I totally respect that. I just to me,
Somebody in the comments that is smarter than me, help explain what I'm saying.
nobody's smarter than me. Um, but yeah, dude, I genuinely do like going to the movie theater by myself. I find it like almost like a I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you have no
Therapeutic.
response when you have nobody with you and
Yeah,
it's just you, you can't do shit besides watch the movie.
yeah,
So it's just like I literally don't have to worry about anything right now.
yeah, yeah. When I took my kid to see Godzilla and Kong for the second time I saw it because I wanted to show it to him. He had to get up and go pee twice, and it pissed me off because I was like,
Oh, you had to
dude.
take them, of course.
Yeah, and I gotta take him. I'm like, "Oh, come on, man." Like, yeah, I know I've already seen the movie, but like most of that movie is action. So like I'm missing fun action. Like, and I remember the second time he went, it was right before like the climactic battle. And I was telling him in the
Uh-huh.
bathroom, I was like, hurry up. You're gonna miss the fight. Like, hurry up. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go.
See, that's another thing you just mentioned. When we were kids, if I was at the movie theater with my mom and dad and I had to go to the bathroom, I just went to the bathroom. There's no way
Well,
you would just
he's
let your
he's
kid go to the
he's 4. He's like
imagine he was 6. You gonna let him go by himself?
I'd say once he gets to probably like 10, I'll let him go do shit by himself. But I'm not one of those parents that thinks that look, crazy shit happens in the world. Yes. I don't think we live in like a dark world. I think people are mostly good. I think people are mostly inherently look out for each other. But if they don't look out for each other, I think most people look out for kids. I really do. Like I really do. And there's some fucking creeps out there, but it's a minority of this population. It's not a majority. And although these things do happen, and which is why I'm not going to let my son go do stuff by himself at this age, I still don't. I don't know. I mean, I've never had anybody say or do anything like weird when we're in public because, like, I mean, I'm 6'4". Like,
Mhm.
I'm not a small guy. So, like, and my son's pretty tall too. He doesn't look 4. But, it's one of those things where it's like, I hear you. My mom was the same way. "You gotta go pee, go pee." I'm not
Go
walking out of the
fucking
movie.
pee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, Christian, that was a mistake on our parents' parts. Honestly, I do. We don't look at it through the right lens sometimes. I think they were being
Yeah.
careless.
I don't know. It's just the I even though I don't have kids, like, I'm trying to imagine being my parents and me going up to or, my kid is me going up and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go see if Bobby, Randy, or, Chris can hang out," which were my friends in the neighborhood. I'll be back, before it gets dark. And just the kid being out of the house for that long and not knowing which house they're at, what they're like, I don't know, that seems so foreign to me. Like, I think I've even talked to my mom about that, and she was just like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know what it was, but that's just how we lived. That's how we grew up." You know,
Yeah.
I was the same way. When I was a kid, my mom would say, "Be home at this time," and we were home at that time.
I
If we
think it's a
didn't, we
I
got our fucking ass beat.
I think another reason for that too is strength in numbers, so to speak. I think when you go with a group of people, our parents didn't really think much of it because it was the same way. My 2 best friends, we all lived on this. We lived a street away, a cul-de-sac away, so I could walk through a backyard, and I was at my best friend's house. So it was like I never really had to tell her. She would know where I was pretty much at all
Yeah.
times, and there was multiple of us. You know what I mean? So it's like, how often do you hear of a kid getting abducted when they're hanging out with like 5 of their friends? Doesn't really happen. It's when kids are alone and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean,
So
but yeah,
if I was gonna just kind of talk. We can get into some kind of movies and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted to set this up. I rebranded. I can't even tell you how long it's been. I don't remember if it's been 1 year, 2 years. Um, I don't know. But if anybody doesn't remember or know, you know, I rebranded my channel because I mean it, Nick. When I say, and of course I would have eventually talked to you before I really made any kind of decision. But when I say I was legitimately fried of doing YouTube because I was only doing horror, I was doing it so often for so long that I really wanted to stop. Just the thought of it just made me sick, right? And so that's when I was telling Sydney, like, I gotta do something. I gotta change something. And so I did. But I would dabble, right? I would kinda do some videos here, some videos there of some fun stuff, and I was happy with that because I knew I could kinda feel like doing it. But dude, I gotta be honest, I kept resting on my laurels and kept resting on my laurels, and I would do something non-horror, and I'd be like, "Oh, that was fun," and then I'd go right back to horror Blu-rays, you want you know, and horror Blu-rays, you want you know, horror this, that, that, that. It wasn't until maybe I'm gonna say 2 or 3 months ago that I finally was like, "Christian, stop being a pussy. Stop it. You're being a bitch. You rebranded your channel. You don't have to stop talking about horror. Everybody knows you like the goddamn stuff, okay? Don't stop talking about but be a man. Actually start talking about these other movies you wanna talk about. Talk about this, talk about that. If you gotta do it through physical, do what you gotta do." So I finally did that, and I've really been fulfilled, and I'm talking about anything I wanna talk about movie related. I'm very happy with that, but I think people still don't realize how what other kind of shit I'm truly into. Like, I haven't filmed my room tour in here yet, Nick, but I have a shelf right here with, like, thousands of dollars of old video games that I never talk about. Um, so I was excited when we had the idea to actually just talk about whatever, but, um, so I don't know, I was gonna ask you, do you ever feel the same way?
all the time.
Like, you know what? Like, fuck views. I can't talk about horror today. I wanna do because I it's it I tell you this, I didn't dip my toes in it this last time. I said, "Fuck it. I'm doing it 1,000%." And it's worked for me. It's working good for me. But I couldn't pussyfoot with it because I don't know if you've ever done this before. You kinda try to say, "Let me talk about this today." "Oh,
Yeah.
they don't seem to like that. Fuck. Let me go back to doing what I'm doing."
It's the
I
exact reason I didn't do a Godzilla and Kong review, because I did a Godzilla versus Kong review when that came out, and it tanked. Nobody cared. Nobody cared, and the funny thing is, Christian, I recorded a Godzilla and Kong review. I recorded it. I did a day where I recorded, like, 3 episodes, or not episodes, 3 videos, like, back to back to back in my room, and I was gonna edit them over the, span of a few days and drop them over a few days, and I didn't even get to editing the Godzilla and Kong one because I just got so disenchanted and I was like, no one's going to watch it. No one's going to care. Like no one. And also it's the burden of like, I know I'm not stupid. I know a lot of the people that are subscribed to me and that listen to this podcast, they come for horror. That's what they want. And I just feel like I'm doing them a disservice if I don't give them that. And that's not the right way to look at it because at the end of the day, they're here to support my passion and my hobby. And if my passion and my hobby are movies writ large, then it should just be any movie I want to talk about. Like, and so your impulse is right. And doing that, making the decision to take the first step to do that is a big decision, but the right one for you. It's just for me, and I've dabbled a little bit, and I'm not closing. I'm still gonna do it every now and then. I do like I did a fucking Barbie review last year because if I see something that like really resonates with me in some kind of way, I'm gonna talk about it.
Why
Like,
was that different from Godzilla?
well, one because I did the Barbenheimer double feature, so I knew I was gonna do an Oppenheimer review. So I was like, I might as well just do Barbie as well, and it was all anybody was talking about. And so I was like, oh, I want to put my, 2 cents in there as well. But the main reason was because I saw two tonally different movies back to back in a day that I genuinely loved for two totally different reasons. And as much as I liked Godzilla and Kong, and I do, it's probably my second favorite MonsterVerse movie. I didn't walk away from the movie just like floored. I wasn't like, "Oh, I fucking loved it. It was incredible." No, I was like, that was really good. Like I had a good time. Like, whereas, some people listening might be like, well, this is fucking stupid. I don't care. But for example, Barbie resonated with me so much because its message about like individuality for every person and like I just like, there were certain themes about that movie that I thought were really well done, and I was just floored that you could take a fucking doll that's popular for girls for decades and make it into a funny, enjoyable, at times actually like I don't know, a movie that actually makes you think. Like it was kind of like, wow, I mean, good job. I'm fucking impressed, and that's what that movie did. And then Oppenheimer was just like, oh my god, dude! Like Oppenheimer was like, I I don't know how to say this, but like I'm a history nerd. It's what I'm going to school for, and it's what I want to teach as a teacher. I want to teach 1900 and on. It's my favorite era, and so like anything that covers the world wars and stuff like that, I'm all about it. And Oppenheimer being all about the creation of the atom bomb and seeing what the US government did to the man that won them the war simply because he felt bad. He had a little bit of guilt and he was like, I don't want to make the H bomb. And they were like, guess what? You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your security clearance. We're going to drag your name through the mud and call you a fucking communist. No one will ever hire you again. And we're going to vilify you and everyone's going to hate you simply because you won't make an even bigger bomb for us, even though you made the A bomb and we won a war. And it's just like, as an American citizen, that fucked with me because I was like, and it's a big reason why I decided years ago I'll never serve in the armed forces because I'd be fighting battles for an entity that doesn't give two shits about me at all. And if they didn't give two shits about J. Robert Oppenheimer, who won World War II, who the fuck am I? Who am I? So yeah.
If you That's awesome, and I'm glad you feel that way, but I still think you deep down I'm not saying you wanna do what I'm doing specifically, but I know you,
I
and
want
I
to
know
branch
you wish
out
you
more. Yes. Yes. I just
can
I
can I give
I
you
don't have the
can I
following
give
yet, man. I don't.
it's not it's not can I give you just if I could tell you anything, because 'cause I'm still figuring out too, Nick, I really am. Don't tiptoe. Break the fucking door down,
Balls deep.
and don't ask. That was the biggest mistake I ever made, because here's the reality, Nick. Every time I do when I record videos now, a lot of it's, of course, physical media, but the beauty is now because dude, think about what I was doing, horror physical media. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane for me to do that, and I've completely I had dude, I mean, it was I didn't consciously say anything to my audience. I didn't say, "Listen, guys, I'm gonna start doing YouTube shorts, and I may wanna talk about Howard the Duck, or I may wanna talk about why Tom Hanks got Henry Winkler fired as the director on Turner and Hooch." I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna be passionate about it, and I busted the fucking door down, dude, and I know you feel the same way about with your stuff.
Dude, I
Because
love
listen, you're telling me, "Okay, Christian, you know what, like, Barbie and all this, it was better than Godzilla," but dude, I remember you texting me, he's like, "Christian, dude, no, 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 please," and I still need to see it. We talked about Omen, and you did agree I should probably see Omen first. You were so excited about Godzilla, and I would have loved to have heard you talk about it publicly. Do it. Do it.
I recorded it. I
Like, no
recorded it.
more I want this to be on video so people can have this and see this and hear this, and you can have this. Break the door down. Don't knock on it. Don't ask. Break it the fuck down, dude. Just do it. That's the Nike doesn't say just try it. It's just do it, man.
Dude,
I've never been happier with what I'm doing, and I know you wanna do the same thing. You don't wanna put restrictions or limitations on yourself.
no.
Just fucking do it.
Dude,
You know what
you
your audience wants and what they like. Don't stop giving them that.
just mix it up.
But
Yeah, no,
you
I
have
hear you.
I'm so fulfilled
Dude, I
with what I'm
love
doing.
I love Spider-Man. I love Batman. I love Transformers. I love James Bond. Like there's so many of these things. I watch that shit probably more than I watch Halloween or
Of
you know
course,
what I mean? Like,
that's the that's the that was the reality I had to give to myself was I mean, I talked about it on live streams, of course, but I was just like, the reality is I'm gonna watch Funny Farm, or I'm gonna watch, Fletch or the Flintstones, or I'm gonna watch X, Y, or Z, even Christopher Nolan's type stuff, probably more often than I'm just gonna watch Friday. Like, I think I don't know, maybe people really did think I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 2 3 times a week. I don't know, but it's just not reality, and,
yeah.
it's just yeah, I want you to be fulfilled with YouTube too, because 'cause I'm telling you, man, I've never been happier. And
No,
every
I
time
mean
I do go to the well to talk about the stuff horror that, I love, dude, it's so refreshing. Like, there are days where I'm just like, "Oh, fuck, dude, I get to do a horror Blu-rays I want you to own. Fuck yeah, let's do this." Instead
yeah,
of, I
yeah.
did that last week, here I am doing
No,
volume 10, I just did volume 9,
and
you know?
that's how I feel about it too, is like as shitty as this might sound, like I'm not trying to I don't know. What
Just be
for
honest,
like
we're here.
for me, it's like there are days where I'm like, I need to get something out into the ether. Like I need to record something today. I have to push myself because the days that I can record are when my kid is not here because he doesn't let me close myself in my room and record shit. So I have 4 days a week where I put my head down and I record stuff. And there are days where I'm like, I get home from work, I eat dinner, I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm like, I need to go record something. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to, pull from the well again and go, oh, now let's talk about like I've been doing this series. I never did this, which I actually like this, and people have really liked me doing it on my channel of going through the decade in horror. And like it's been getting good views and garnering a ton of conversation. That's the thing I care about is the conversation that it starts. I don't care if I post a video and it gets 2,500 views, but 13 comments, I'm kind of bummed because it's like all these people are watching it, but nobody wants to talk about it. I much prefer when people want to
The
talk about it.
conversation.
Yeah.
I
So
yeah.
I like that. But yeah, there are times where I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, I don't want to keep pulling from this well. Like, I don't want to do, if you want me to be honest with you, a big passion of mine, I want to do more interviewing. Like, I really, and because anytime I've done it, I can't tell you when I interviewed Michelle Dawson from Halloween Ends, the comments on that video literally made my day. And Michelle in the interview said like, you're really good at this. And like
Mhm.
it floored me because I was like, I've never thought of myself that way. Like I always felt like I'm like awkward. And she was like, no, you didn't act like you didn't ask me the same shit everybody asked me. It flowed very organically. Like and everybody was saying that in the comments. Like, you need to do more stuff like this. And so like part of me is like, build up my following more and more so it's more respectable. So some of these people, it's not hard to reach out to them. They see a
Mhm.
respectable following. They're like, oh, sure, I'll come on your channel. Like shout out to our buddy Piz Owl. He's got a very reputable name in the horror YouTube space. So that's how he's able to get some of these people on there. And I'd love to get to that point, because I like to just talk to these people that make these movies and star in these movies. It fascinates me. Ever since I was a kid, I've probably loved watching behind the scenes making ofs on movies and listening to audio commentaries than watching the movie sometimes. Like, that stuff fascinates me. So that's why when we had Gary Tunnicliffe on, it was like an almost 3-hour episode, because I could
Mhm.
just talk his fucking ear off, man. Like, there's
Yeah,
just so much I want to know. Um, so
cool
yeah,
dude.
I don't even know if it's more or less like, oh, I want to expand with more genres. Like, I do want to do that, but I really think my passion is starting to really become more of like, I really want to talk to these people. I want to pick their brains. Like, I don't know. That fascinates me.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But still waiting on Ashley Lawrence, guys.
Yeah, see,
Still
guys,
waiting on it.
Nick has this problem of he gets really excited and he says stuff
Not my
publicly,
fault. Not my fault. We
and then it
were.
doesn't happen.
Someone reached out to us and said, "Hey, she wants to come on the pod." And I was like, "Cool, let's set it up." And then it never happened. So not my fault. But yes, he is right. Sometimes I put the cart before the horse. But anyway, all right. TED Talk over for the next half hour or so. Christian, you mentioned something about video games. I'm going to ask you this question right now. Best Nintendo 64 game and why?
Oh, man.
Yeah, now we're digging
Um,
deep.
when you say best, that's a tough question.
Your favorite. Your favorite. It doesn't have to objectively be the best.
I'll tell you which game I can play right now, and it's the most relaxing, most fun, dopamine-filling game of all time is Star Fox 64.
Fuck yeah,
Right there.
yes, yes. Okay, so this was my childhood. The games that I played on rotation, and I want to hear how many of these you had and how many of you loved. Star
Okay.
Fox, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap.
Yes, but I'm not good at Stadium because as Sydney always says, I just like to get the cute fat Pokemon and I'm not strategic.
Yeah,
So I always lose to Sydney
yeah,
because I'll get a Poliwhirl, I guess because I think he looks cooler than Poliwrath. Then I'll get, anyway, go ahead.
yeah.
Go
You
ahead.
get a fucking Pikachu.
Pokemon Snap is one of the most
Relax
rewarding,
and relaxing.
relaxing, fun games. And I remember you'd have to throw a Pokeball in, like, this pit in the 2nd level, and then a Haunter would come out of the hole,
Mhm.
then you gotta try to get the face shot of him.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, great game. Go ahead.
GoldenEye, um, Star Wars Rogue Squadron,
Mhm.
um, Glover, Ocarina of
Wow,
Time.
I've never seen anybody talk about Glover before.
I love Glover. I actually still have it right now. I have the cartridge in my N64. Actually, it's the last game I played on my N64 a couple months ago. Uh, and then the ones Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then probably my favorites, my two favorites that I played the most, and I've beat them again 5 or 6 times each since I've been an adult because they remastered them for Xbox. Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. Um, those 9 or 10 games were like my childhood. And
Yeah,
Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was one too.
Banjo-Kazooie is man, that was such an innovative thing. I remember when we were a kid too, we got this press mail or VHS tape, I don't know where we got it, for Banjo-Kazooie, and it was a VHS tape, like an EPK of the game, and it was like this, like, little commercial for the game, and the gameplay was just insane looking at it. Um, I used to love going into those little huts and talking to the voodoo guy, and,
Mumbo
he
Jumbo.
would mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Dude, I have Banjo-Kazooie in the box, but I don't remember playing I don't remember I say I don't remember liking that one as much. I just Banjo-Kazooie, the first one, dude, the music, oh, man. Especially,
Here's the
like, the
thing.
haunted levels, you'd have that little haunted
Dude.
oh, man, just
What
catchy shit.
Mad Monster Mansion. That's world number
Mad Monster
5. Mad
Mansion.
Monster Mansion. I fucking love Mad Monster Mansion, but I'll tell you this. Banjo-Kazooie, I've gotten to the point now when I replay it, I can beat the game in under 10 hours of gameplay. Like
Wow.
I run through it. But Banjo-Tooie is about twice the investment. And that's the reason I love Banjo-Tooie so much. It's different in some ways, but it's a much
Yeah.
larger game. It takes longer to beat. There's more to do. There's more to collect. So when I go, it's usually every year and a half, 2 years. I'm like, all right, I'm going to replay them both and beat them. As soon as I beat Kazooie, I'm on Tui. I got to go back to back with them. It's like OCD in me. I don't know what it is, but Tui, it is different, but the gameplay is largely the same. And there's some great worlds, although I will say the worst world in all of the Banjo-Kazooie lore is in Banjo-Tooie. It's Jolly Roger's Lagoon. Fuck that
Mm.
world. You're underwater the entire time. I hate that shit because in 64, swimming underwater controls suck ass. And I hate that world. Every time I go to play it, I'm like, do I really have to do this? But the completionist in me, I have to get all the Genjos. I have to get all the Jiggies. I have to do it. So I'm like, I gotta fucking do it. And they did one in 2008 for Xbox called Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And I
Nuts and
beat,
bolts.
yeah,
Oh god.
I beat that
I
one a couple times, but it's just yeah, it's not the
I
same.
remember getting that and realizing, "Oh, man, I built this up way too much in my head."
They were wrong. They were wrong. They Rareware made a point. They said openly, well, nobody wants the same gameplay as Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. So if we're going to come back 10 years later, we have to do something different. And literally
Yeah.
everyone was like, yes, we do want the same gameplay. Like, why did you change this? And they've been talking for years and years and years about doing a Banjo 3E, which is like an official sequel to Banjo 2E. And I'm sure it'll eventually get made, but I'm wondering if it should at this point, because if it's not going to be the same gameplay as the first two, people just, they're not going to want it. Like, and I don't want it. If it's not going to be similar gameplay, I don't want it. Like, I don't know.
I used to play as Banjo a lot on Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah.
I love Diddy Kong Racing. I still love Diddy Kong Racing. And that's a big world game too, especially for a racing game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Um, what's in my 64 right now? Road Rash 64. I love that shit. That's where I
Crash
found.
Bandicoot. Did you play Crash Bandicoot?
Oh, sure, sure. I remember that was. I'm sure that came with my PlayStation when I was a kid. It used to give me anxiety when you'd have to run down the screen and jump over the logs and stuff when the big boulders coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play that, and I used to play Spyro the Dragon a lot. And I
Yes.
was thinking about, it's funny because I was thinking about Spyro the other day. Like, have they made a Spyro game at all lately, or is that series just kind of gone?
I want to say the last one they did was, I think they did one in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to find out. The last one they made was that '08?
Wow.
I think. Oh no, they did a remake. They remade the trilogy, and it's called Spyro Reignited. And
Mm.
they remade it for Xbox One and PS4. But
That's
no, they
another thing
haven't.
that they're doing is remaking all these goddamn games.
Yeah.
I
Which I'm
remember when
like Glover. Speaking of Glover, they're about to do that with Glover. Next
I
year,
thought that was
Glover.
a hidden gem. Like
Oh,
I
it
never knew
was.
anybody that played Glover.
I loved Glover. But I'll tell you guys right now, if you're listening and you've never played Glover, it will drive you insane because
Yeah.
it is hard. It is
It's it's
hard.
it's weird. It's like you're the
Yeah.
hamburger helper glove
Yes,
walking
you're a
around, and
glove and
you got a
you're
ball that you're pushing around,
yep.
right?
Every world has to do with you navigating a ball, and some of the balls are super fast. So you'll go off the edge of the world all the fucking time, or they're super slow, or they're super. I mean, it is a pain in the ass. You have to like throw it at stuff and aim it perfectly, and it's just there's a
I'm gonna
lot
put
about
Glover's going on the thumbnail.
do it. I mean, and I was so excited because last year Microsoft announced that it's getting remade for Xbox, and I'm excited because
That's
I'm
cool.
I'm on the second world on N64 right now. I beat Glover when I was a kid. I don't know how
I
I'm
used to love
struggling.
playing the final boss was easy. So I
Yes.
remember I remember we once we beat the game, I would go back and play the final boss level all just for fun,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, no, it was, but the controls, they're so touchy. They're so touchy on the N64 with Glover. I am struggling so hard as an adult to play it on there. So I cannot wait for the remaster to come out for Xbox so I can have the Xbox controller that I'm used to and actually beat the game again because I rage quit the last time I played Glover. I could not beat the second world. And I was like, fuck this. Like, it's too touchy. I'm rolling on this ball. I keep rolling off. I keep fucking dying. This is
Oh, dude,
bullshit.
I'm convinced I was a better game player when I was a kid. I'm just
Same.
convinced of it because what was it? There's this weird Nintendo 64 game called Mischief Makers. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember this.
Yeah.
I was trying to play it maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and within 10 minutes, I couldn't figure out what the fuck to do, and I remember just as a kid blowing right past it, just right past it. We would rent 64 games, like, we had about 5 games we owned, and this was, like, during, like, 97, 98. So this is when the 64 was really during its early initial run, so the games were expensive. So we'd have, like, 5 or 6 games we had, and then we would just rent games, and me and my brother would just pound through games in 3 days, just beat it, and, like, now it's like, man, I don't know how the fuck I did it. 'Cause
No,
I
yeah.
now my attention span's way too short. I can watch Sydney play an adventure game, but I get sick playing open world games. I get nauseous. I can watch it, but giving me the wheel, I don't know what it is. I wasn't like that when I was a kid either. Cause she loves that, granted, the game was fucking gorgeous. She wanted the Switch really bad, so we have the Switch and we got the PlayStation 5 now, but she was playing, Breath of the Wild, and I
Yeah.
remember, like, I was gonna get it for her for Nintendo Wii U, which I actually like that system, but it tanked, and nobody has a Wii U, and I like it. I got it in here, and I was gonna get her this game for that, and she was like, "No, I want it for the Switch, blah, blah, blah." So we eventually got the Switch a few months later, and she was playing it. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't know if it's the best Zelda game or not. I'm not a Zelda pro, but she
Ocarina of Time.
swears I like Ocarina of Time too. I actually like Zelda, 2 for Super Nintendo a lot as well. Big fan of that one. I don't know.
Ocarina and Majora's Mask, and part of that is nostalgia because those were the 2 that came out on N64 that I played as a kid, and then they later remastered for the 3DS, and I beat them both again on the 3DS, so, like, yeah, nostalgia, but
I
yeah,
got that. Here you go. I found it. It is right up here. Uh, Man, that box is old. That's the only thing about them 64 boxes is
I don't care,
they're cardboard.
I'd sell my kid for that right now.
Yeah. I
No, I
got a
wouldn't.
lot of those. I just man, I've got it's embarrassing how many thousands of dollars of retro games I've got. Some of this shit, man, some of this shit is worth a lot of money. Um,
I mean, I'm going through that with my older brother's going through that right now, or at least I'm trying to get him to see that. He has a binder full of Pokemon cards from his childhood. And my brother Matt is 36, and I've tried to tell him, I'm like, dude, you have some cards in that binder that are worth thousands of dollars, like thousands of dollars. You haven't touched those cards in 25 years. Sell some of them. Like, but I get it. There's this nostalgic connection. I'm like, no, it's from my childhood and
I'd
blah, blah,
sell the
blah.
fuck out of those. I
I
got no
know.
attachment to it. I lived it. I enjoyed it, but dude, if I could
Christian,
sell a
he
Charizard
has,
for
he
$1,000,
has, he has a first edition Blaine's Charizard. Those things go for
is it graded?
$3,000. No, he hasn't gotten it graded, but it is a first edition. He's had it in a binder for like 25 years. It is in
I'd
great
sell it.
condition. I'm like, dude, you could get like 3 grand for that
If
fucking card.
it's graded good, dude. Oh
Yeah,
god, thousands.
I
This
know. And
somebody might know or have played this game. This is just to have this in the actual jewel case where it's not broken. I'm a big Sega guy. Here's Sonic CD in the case, and this game is worth a lot of fucking money. Um, Sega is where I've got a lot of money tied into shit. Man,
yeah,
I love
growing
that
up, it
stuff.
was for us the consoles we had. We were an N64 household, and then we went from N64 to PS2. We never had a Super Nintendo. I've played a Super Nintendo,
I
but we never owned one as a family.
The reality is my favorite system of all time is the Sega Genesis, always will be. But if somebody tells me that the best game library is the Super Nintendo, I really can't argue it. Super Nintendo has such an incredible library of games.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the perfect graphics, man. Like I love my side scrolling shit. I really do. A lot of those games too, they had perfected like Castlevania is one of my favorite side
Oh yeah.
scrollers of all
Yep.
time, and Super Castlevania 4 is just fucking insane. Um, that's my shit. It
Man.
was I'm looking at it right now. So, up here I guess I can just show the audience, see if I can turn around my tripod and see if people can see it. So, up there, it may be hard to see, is a Nintendo in the box and a Sega Genesis complete. Both of them are complete in the box. It's up on top of that bookshelf, and that's a Donkey Kong it's in front of it. So, I don't know if people can see it that well, but the interesting thing is that the Nintendo complete in the box, my drummer Colby, which I don't know if he ever listens to the shows or not, but he gave it to me. He said his family had it and he knew I collected that stuff, so he sent it to me. The Sega Genesis, it was probably a year and some change ago. I got home. I used to try to knock out my runs. When I worked graveyards, I'd get home and go running. I'll never forget. It was a Saturday morning. I had worked Friday night. I was going running. One of my neighbors just threw a Sega Genesis complete in box in their garbage. And we live in the city, so we've got, I don't know if you have this. We got the waste management people that come around at 3 a.m. once a week and they dump all your trash out into the big truck. I was going jogging, I saw it and I pulled it out. I couldn't believe it. It was a complete in-box Sega Genesis with a Sonic bundle, the Sonic 2 bundle. And I pulled it out, cleaned it up. Just like, do you realize how much this shit's worth? Just that cardboard alone. Do you know how much that shit's fucking worth? And they threw it away. And that's the thing that kills me is thinking about some of this shit, right now. Like somebody could just be going through a closet and have no idea. Just throw this shit away. Nobody plays
Yeah.
this 8-bit shit anymore. Get rid of it. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of this stuff is priceless to me. Like it's stuff that I would keep, if I had it. But yeah, I mean, the people that have no use for it and have no idea what it's worth, like what they actually have their hands on, it's wild to me. It's wild how people could be so careless with that kind of stuff and so
It's nuts.
ignorant.
Yep, and then the shitty thing is it's so hard to find any of this stuff in the wild now or just find it at flea market. It's hard, 'cause the game stuff, it's crazy how popular it is the way horror is, and I'm so blessed. I feel lucky because I got into the so I was into vintage games before I guess they were vintage back then, like in 2000 the mid-2000s, and then
Mhm.
I lost it all in Katrina. I saved some stuff, thank God. But I got back into it around 2009, and from 2009 to about 2011, Nick, I mean, I was living at home, and I dropped out of college because I just didn't know what to do, so my mom was just like, "Well, just get a job and work. Just don't be asking me for money." So I was like, "Okay." I was dumping money into this shit, Nick, and this was before it got crazy. So I could get shit like this. This is Godzilla for Game Boy in the box.
Holy
And look at
shit.
the back, look at Manila. And, like, this box, like, I just this box alone, I could probably get, I don't know, maybe $100 for this. I mean, I've got the game and it's got the manual and everything in it, but, like, buying all this shit now, yeah, see, here's the look at the manual. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Like, getting all this shit now would cost me thousands. But it kinda I don't know, it kinda sucks. Like, I wish it was more niche, but at the same time, I don't know. I kinda feel that way about horror, but, like, not in a dickish way. Like, not like I'm like it's not like I'm upset that it's popular because, honestly, the more popular it is, the more cool stuff these companies make, blah, blah, blah. But, man, it's just like, I thought I was a rebel. I felt like one. It's not that I was trying to be one, but, dude, it's like, if you woulda told me in 2000, I don't know, 11, and I'm sure you would say the same thing, they're gonna have Halloween 3 mass produced in Party City. I'd have been like, "You're out of your fucking mind."
Go back and watch our old Halloween 3 videos on our channels, guys. Like we knew during that time it was not popular to like that movie. It was not we weren't like it wasn't edgy for us to be like, "Oh, well, we like it because we're edgy." No, we just really genuinely liked it and it was I don't know, it was just really cool because yeah, nowadays it's crazy to think that what made me in some ways throughout my life feel like an outcast at times. Now, no, it's widely accepted. Halloween 2018 comes out, breaks fucking records, dude. Like it's a huge deal. Meanwhile, I remember sitting in a dingy theater watching Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in 2009 with maybe 20 other people. Like it's just it's so different now. And it's like I'd wear my horror t-shirts in high school and have my long hair and feel like I'm like, oh, people probably look at me like I'm fucking weird, like I'm different. And now you see kids doing that all the time. You go to Hot Topic or whatever, it's all they got. It's just fucking
Yeah,
crazy. It's just like, and more power, like you said, it's cool. Spread the love. I want more people to appreciate this kind of stuff. But yeah, the times have changed, man, because this was not always cool. This was not always socially acceptable.
yeah.
But
Well,
I guess
it's
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 different
it's
eras, right? It was in the 80s. It was in the
I
80s, it was popular.
it was just like we would in high school. It's just like we would go see a horror movie every now and again, and we would just go see it. We weren't thinking about it. We weren't talking about it. Like that's just the way it was. Now it consumes us. It consumes people's lives. It's their identity.
Yeah. Gotta make a
It's
video about it. Gotta post
you
about it on
know,
Instagram. Gotta, yeah.
and I'm guilty. It's fun, right? Like it's fun to live in pop culture and enjoy, and it's fun to walk in a room and like when I come in here, it's so like it's posters on the wall and Castlevania posters and Caddyshack. I love living in this stuff because it makes Sydney did this. Like when we first bought our house, she was like, "I'm gonna paint the walls this this dark shade of teal green." I was like, "Oh God, don't do that." She was like, "Trust me, you're gonna like it." I was like, "But Sydney, I want our house to look nice." She goes, "It's gonna look nice." And so I was like, "Fine, you can pick the paint for that." So we did it. We did a living room, and like now I get it. When our house, that color of green, it's so soothing, and that's when I learned like as simple as. And now I made a mistake in this room, which I had to fix, but I did learn that she taught me like make your home environment happy and make yourself feel like set your mood in your house. Because like my mom's house, my mom always decorates the house like she's fixing to sell it. I can't stand it. Like it's just dull. There's shitty, plain ass paint on the wall. I'm not saying do stupid colors, but oh god, she kills me.
I
She
can't
kills
I
me with that
can't
shit.
do the suburban, you
Yeah, because you're
know.
renting, so you can only. I know.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's more I just that aesthetic doesn't please me. It doesn't. And Brooke would give me shit sometimes when she'd come pick William up or drop William off, and she'd say stuff about, my movie posters and everything. And I'm like, but this is what makes me happy. Like this, I like to be surrounded by this stuff. And I would never want to be with somebody long term in my life that couldn't accept that about me. It's like if you don't you don't have to love what I love, but if you can't support what I love, what makes me happy, my hobbies, it's like what are we doing here? And I feel like anybody listening right now that might be in a situation where whether it's friends, family, spouse, whatever it is, if you feel that way, you shouldn't. Like your spouse, your best friend, they don't have to share in the same passion as you, but it should make you happy
No,
to
yeah,
see other people happy.
they have
And
to be able to. Yeah, yeah. I know that. I'm telling you, man. Sydney doesn't want to watch all these fucking trick or treats movies and stuff with me all the time or go to the movie theater, but she gets it. She understands that I got to do I got to record, I got to do this. She doesn't bitch about it. She understands. And dude, like I get it. See, if especially when you start doing it where it becomes, I hate to say a job, but let's just face it. I mean, I'm getting fucking tax paperwork for YouTube now. I'm proud of that. I work hard, but yeah, dude, it's a job at this point. So if somebody has a hard time dealing with that and giving you that time and understanding, yeah, it's gonna eventually become a problem. So, you gotta have the
yeah,
foresight if anybody listening is in a situation like that,
yeah,
you know?
hey, cut your losses. I should have done it sooner,
Yeah,
to be honest with you, because yeah, man, I'm a pretty simple guy. I don't ask for much. You don't need to watch every movie that I watch and love it, but I don't know, be happy that I'm happy. If I go see a movie that I really like, and I want to tell you about it, and I'm really animated about it, like, I don't know, it should make the people closest to you happy that you're that happy about something. And you'd think that wouldn't be too much to ask in life, but you're finding nowadays quite regularly, for some people it is. For some people they just don't get it. And they struggle to understand it. And in doing so, it almost seems as like they don't care. And that, I don't know, man. Like, if you asked, I don't know, if you asked me to do a podcast with you, or show with you of any kind, and I didn't really care what we were talking about, and I was just kind of there, I was just kind of present, I would hope you'd be upset. And I'd hope you'd voice that to me and be like, "Well, what the hell, man? Like, I was really stoked to do this. And, you just didn't, you didn't seem to care. Like, if you didn't want to do it, like, you should have just told." And no, guys, this has not happened, but it's just a real world example that I can tell you, like, with this dynamic, like, I would hope he'd be honest about that. And I would be honest too. And so I just feel like you should ask for that in all aspects of your life, from those closest to you. It's Be honest with you, Christian. It's a reason why. I mean, I'll just say it. I know this is going to go out on YouTube and stuff, and that's fine. I've become a lot more selective about who I do stuff with on YouTube, and who I associate with on social media. Believe it or not, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm like, if you're not, you don't want to build me up, and you don't want to support me, and you don't want to, be happy for me and some of my interests and whatnot, I'm not,
Excuse
I'm
me.
not, I'm not going to give you that energy anymore. And I'm kind of there where it's like, and you can also tell when it's not genuine. When someone's like, "Hey, I really want to do this with you because it'll give me some exposure," and or I don't know what it is. It's like, I'd rather it just be genuine, man. Like, I'd rather it just be like, "Hey, man, like, I really dig what you do, or I really like your page or your channel." Like, I don't know, man.
Mhm.
Real people, that it me that's important to me.
Oh, I absolutely. I think we've talked about this before, like, I've had people reach out. It's funny because like, not a whole lot of people reach out to me. Fachi sure fucking does, but, like, not a whole lot of people reach out to me to try to
We
be like,
love you,
"Hey, can you
Matt.
do this?"
We love you, Matt.
He's a good sport. He's not listening.
We give
But,
him
like,
shit all the time.
a lot of people, not a lot of people reach out to me to, do stuff with. And, the truth is, not that I keep myself way too busy anyway, but, like, in the past, there were situations, I think we've talked about this, where it's just like, man, once they get something, boom, they're done. Like, that's it.
Yep, you
And
scratch the itch for them.
I've had people block me because I said I would do something, and this was years ago. But I've had people block me because they asked me to do something. We were friendly with each other. Like, it's happened with a couple of people. And, I agreed to do it. Was just something like, "Hey, do you wanna do a video? Help me like, do this?" I'm like, "Sure, man." And, like, "Okay, send me a video of this," and I might not have gotten it to them. And instead of just asking me, they'd block me.
Yep.
It's like, dude, I'm lucky though, like, I'm very centered with Sydney, so a lot of this internet stuff, the reality is this: I use social now look, this doesn't mean you can't reach out to me, anybody wanna talk to me. I use social media as literally promotion for my YouTube channel. That's it. It's a business. I get on there, I make posts. This is the way I operate, Nick. Like,
It's true. He
I have
doesn't he
all
doesn't watch my
this.
stories, guys. He doesn't even watch my stories. It's true.
This is how I operate the internet. It's a job, and I treat it like a tool. That's it. I don't let social media use me, I just use it. I wake up like, let me tell you what I'm gonna do tonight. Alright, so a couple days ago, I filmed about 15 shorts,
Mhm.
edited them all up. I got shorts coming out from now for 2 weeks. I don't have to do anything. I write every I get an idea while I'm driving, taking a shit, jogging. I make a note in my phone, write it down, because ideas always come at the drop of a hat. I write them all down, I film it, And if when it comes to social media stuff, okay, what video is coming out this day? Okay, let me find something that goes along with that. Boom, boom, boom. I'll make 7 Instagram posts and I'll schedule them. Boom. I have it all scheduled. So when I post, I could be dead asleep because I'm on graveyards, but my post will come out during the day while I'm sleeping. I use social media as an absolute tool, and I've never been happier. That's how I operate. That's how I use all this shit. Now, that doesn't mean I don't make friends from the internet. That's not that. Of course I do. But I'm telling you, man, I used to be so obsessed with scrolling on reels, Nick. I could sit on my bed, like run the water to take a shower and just start scrolling. And now I'm realizing, oh my God, I've been doing this for an hour. The hot water heater is definitely tapping, begging for mercy right now. And then like I used to be like that hard. I had an addiction. I had to stop myself. So I use social media as an absolute tool. So I'm just saying, any creators out there that can relate to what I'm talking about, I'm telling you, just do what I do. Use this shit as a tool. Don't let it use you.
Yeah, because then you become a tool. No
Yeah.
one wants to be a tool.
No one wants to be a tool.
No. Yeah, well, shit,
I can't
man.
see how long we've been going, so I mean,
Almost 2
I'll
hours.
go ahead.
So I figured we were probably gonna get to wrapping it. I wanted to let everybody know we're gonna definitely try to do a live in 2 weeks. We'll try to stick to that schedule also because it was like 4 or 5 weeks since the last episode. So a little bit longer of a break than we had been doing. So we'll try to see if we can get together for a live. Guys, I hope to a lot of you weren't upset. I know we had talked about like, oh, it's going to be anything but horror. Like, will it be action movies, comedy movies? But I think that Christian's
This is
impulse
better.
was the right one. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm good at a lot of things, but one thing I am good at is podcasting. Give me some credit.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something, Christian. I get told a lot of the time that I actually got told tonight by somebody that had never told me this. They were like, you guys have really good podcast voices. It's a really good listen. And I'm like,
Thank
"Hey,
you.
like
Thank you.
you think so? Like that's awesome. Like cool." So yeah, I mean, got to be doing something right to be going this long and still have a loyal following. Yeah, gotta be doing something right. So yeah, I think that this was the right impulse for this episode, and I think that this change of pace, maybe Dave Vanderhoff won't hate this episode because it wasn't
He
all about
probably
action.
he probably will. He doesn't like the fast food talk. He's gonna call us fat. Um,
You
yeah.
think he'll probably hate our soda takes? He might hate our soda takes.
Stop drinking soda, drink water.
Yep, yep. So, but yeah, no, I dug it. Obviously, Christian will touch base about Alive here in 2 weeks or so, and then the next episode that will be pre-recorded will be the Italian horror one. And just so you all know,
That's on Nick. I
I
ain't got no homework to do.
I
I'm
know
studied up.
I have a kind of date tomorrow, I guess, after work. And then when I get home from that, I'm going to watch The Beyond. So I feel like I've seen, I've seen New York Ripper, I've seen Zombie, I've seen a lot of the heavy hitters, but another heavy hitter that I haven't seen yet is The Beyond. So I felt
It's
like, well,
weird that you've seen Ripper. I guess it's because of me, but like I really wouldn't even call that a heavy hitter for Fulci. Like if the Beyond, Zombie, House by the Cemetery are like and of course what am I saying? Gates of Hell or City of the Living. Zombie, Gates of Hell, and the Beyond. That is the Michael, Freddy, and Jason of Fulci movies. Those are the big 3. So, definitely The Beyond is fucking amazing. That's the one where if you tell me The Beyond's the best Fulci movie, I'd say 4 out of 7 days of the week, I would say you're goddamn right it is. The other 3, I would say, no, it's Zombie. But The Beyond is
yeah.
he doesn't care about reality.
I was gonna
Fulci
say,
will flip you at the drop of a hat.
I was gonna say,
He's the
man, that
master.
Zombie, that's a high bar to clear for me. I really, really dug that movie.
It's
Like, really
amazing.
dug that movie. So, but I've heard a lot of really good.
It broke the barrier of Italian to just getting popular in America. It broke it. It broke that barrier. So not many of those guys did that. Obviously Argento did that. For Alice Cooper to say his favorite horror movie is Suspiria. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if you guys are big, I know a lot of you are big Giallo fans and big marks for the Italian horror. So that's coming next. Until then, Christian, you got anything before we head out?
as always, thank you for listening. That's all I got.
All right, guys. We love y'all. We will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. Stay healthy, stay safe, and go see the first Omen.
There you go. Take care.